Hello everybody, this is Steve the teacher coming to you from Benxi, China. When I heard my good friend Evan Ginsberg was doing a 2-hour tribute to Nikolai Volkoff, I was both excited and disappointed. I was excited because Nikolai was a great man and deserves to be honored in such a manner. However, I was disappointed because being in China, I was unable to arrive in person at Evan's studio to record this tribute. Thankfully, Evan did suggest that I could videotape this and pay my tribute to Nikolai in my own way, all the way across the world. My first Nikolai story I wasn't involved in personally, but I was definitely aware of. I was a worker. It was the early point in my career, and a friend of mine was booked on a show in York, Pennsylvania, SWO, Susquehanna Wrestling Organization. And as I did in those days, I went down with all my gear, hoping to get booked on the show. I didn't that time, however, but that's not the point of the story. It was there I became aware of what was called the Nikolai rule. And that's a rule which pertains to having a proper fitting wrestling gear. Because in those days, Nikolai was still wearing his red trunks that he had worn in his WWF days, I believe. And all the elastic had worn out, and there was definitely a dangling of the genitalia, which became an issue for the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commissioner. My next story also takes place in Pennsylvania, in a small town. I don't remember if it was Lackawaxen or Matamoros, one of those two. We had met, I believe it was Matamoros, an outdoor show for World Star Wrestling Federation, and I was booked against Nikolai. It was a July 4th celebration, and it was at a ball field, if I recall. And Nikolai arrived a little bit later than I did. I was already at the merchandise table signing. The only open seat was next to me. Nikolai sits down next to me and says, "Who am I wrestling tonight?" I go, some guy, Steve the teacher. And he goes, "Who the hell is that?" And I just calmly said to him, "I guess you'll find out in the ring." My third story was also for WSWF when Nikolai and I were scheduled to have our rematch. And the finish was called. And Nikolai, since he had beat me cleanly the first time, wanted to create a little controversy the second time. He didn't want me to look weak twice. So it was his idea for me to put my foot on the rope on the 2 count. So at least I would have something to complain about, having been defeated by him a second time. Well, we did the match, and it went typical. And then we came to the finish, and Nikolai hit me in the back with a lariat from behind, and I went down. He covered me. 1, 2. I put my foot over the rope. The referee sees my foot, calls for a break. I guess we should have discussed the finish with the ref, but neither of us thought of that, apparently. So I feed into the corner. Nikolai comes in after me, and I say to him, "What do we do now?" And he says to me, "Same thing." And we did the same exact finish. This time I didn't put my foot on the rope. Good mission, Nikolai. We love you.